So if you're not having this interaction with your father or a man in good standings, you technically don't know how to be a wife. You really just only know how to go out here and date. And if you're then going out here and in the dating pool, what's going to happen is, the old school term is, you're going to get defiled. You're going to get some guy who's going to turn around, mess around with you, and then you pregnant. And now your value is lower. And of course, I know a lot of women don't want to hear that. But once, as a man, once you see that you have a child, you're fair game. What's going on? It's WillMyCraven coming to you another day with another video. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Leave a comment. We'll be gladly appreciated. If you'd like to donate, hit that link down below or head to your Cash App and type that in, and we gladly appreciate any type of donation that you make to the channel. With that being said, jump right on into this joint. Are you being taught to be married, aka a wife, or are you taught to date? That's something to really think about. Ask yourself that question. Are you actually being taught? And this video is actually for the women. Are you actually being taught to be a wife, or are you just simply being taught how to date? And there's this distinct difference. I did a video on what was it? Is there pee in the dating pool? I did some talking on that video, and I've come to realize that a lot of women have no idea what it means to be a wife. Even when my divorce was going on, my ex-wife actually made that statement. Like, I really had no idea of how to be a wife. And that's one thing I'll never forget when she said it. It was like, yeah, I know that, and I was trying to tell you how, and I do all this other stuff, but you just wasn't listening, which seems to be quite common with a lot of women today. Us men will tell you stuff, and y'all just simply just don't want to listen to what we tell you, and then we're the ones who's supposed to fix it or correct it, or however you want to, whatever you want to call it. But here's the thing. Before I even say that, I know there's something I've really been paying attention to a lot, and it's when I look at a woman, I'm looking to see I'm looking at how she's dressed and how she moves. And what I found is, in my memory, it's a lot different from what I remember as a child. Like, these women I see today, well, young ladies, young girls, just women's daughters. It's like, I know exactly how, more than likely, what their mother looks like. Simply because, from what I remember as a child, I remember the daughters resembling the mothers. So a lot of these girls I see out here, they have fake eyelashes on, they have the fingernails on, they have the fake hair on. And a lot of these girls that's under 18 have tattoos now too. Like, I didn't see none of that stuff when I was young. And what we even see the little girls out here twerking and doing all other kind of stuff. And it's like, I know who's been teaching you. You've learned that more or less from your mother, or either someone that's in her circle, or someone in your circle that's allowed you to actually do that. And like I said, the women that I remember, the girls that I remember back from when I was younger, they generally resembled their mother. It wasn't until they got older they started really straying out. Once they got out in my group, and yeah, the group that's 10 years older than me, and my group, and on down, it's really a mess. And I can honestly say a lot of women that I see are not really taught to be how to be a wife. Like, being a wife is how agreeable can you be? And I was like, oh, why should I be agreeable? First of all, if your father actually was in your life and whatever guy that was coming to you trying to show interest in you, you took him to your father, he would then turn around and if he's correct, mature, wise, he's then going to evaluate that man or male and then determine to see if he's actually suitable for you to actually be given away to. So the process with that should be, okay, are you agreeable? And once you are agreeable, do you have the ability to enhance what he does? So at some point in your life, you should actually have experienced your father to where whether it was his business or something that he has, that he taught you how to enhance it. This ain't just like the stuff you get from your mother is one thing, but your father should have actually helped you be capable of actually being a wife to a man. It's one thing to get stuff from your mother, but there are things that your father is actually going to turn around and be able to do that bring out the wife in you. Like I mentioned before in the video, I learned how to be a gentleman and chivalry through my godmother, Michelle Williams, great woman. She's no longer here. She drilled that in me, and those from that aspect, I learned basically women's figure and all other stuff, and how to dress and what's how to hide the stuff and all that stuff. I learned that from my actual biological mother. So I got an accumulation of stuff that I know and do in regards to women and how to be very attentive and discerning and soft when need be from a woman. I didn't learn that from a man. I learned that from another woman, which then is like, oh, okay, you so much different. I really like you. There's something different about you because those attributes I learned from a woman. So in order to be a wife, you have to learn, even with your mother telling you stuff, you really have to learn how to be a wife is actually from your father. He should be teaching you certain things so you interact with him. This is why it's necessary to have both parents, because both parents is teaching, whether the boy or the daughter, the son or the daughter, how to be either the husband or the wife. So if you're not having this interaction with your father or a man in good standings, you technically don't know how to be a wife. You really just only know how to go out here and date. And if you're then going out here and in the dating pool, what's going to happen is, the old school term is, you're going to get defiled. You're going to get some guy who's going to turn around, mess around with you, and then you're pregnant. And now your value is lower. And of course, I know a lot of women don't want to hear that. But once, as a man, once you see that you have a child, you're fair game. A man knows. Someone hit that, I can hit that too. And this is why some guys try to find out what your child's father is about, because now he's measuring himself. He's competing to what all can I do, what all can I get away with, what all can I get her to do. Let's see what her integrity is. He's going to fish to find out, and he's going to do his evaluation. He's going to try to do it rather quickly. And this is what actually keeps lowering your value every time a guy comes in. I'm like, oh, well, you did such and such. That's why I said I made a video about body count. Don't be fooled. Your body count does matter. It matters in one way or another. It's mattering to the guy who says it doesn't matter, to see how many bodies you got, so he knows you've given him intel to where he can either get it quick, fast, or he knows eventually if he take his time, he's still getting, because your body count's high and he know you're going to give in at some point. So Yes, you get stuck in the dating realm because, number one, a lot of us can identify if your father was there and as he taught you how to be a wife. Like there's things we know. We just simply know. I know if you've had a father to turn around and tell you the things that you need to do just simply based off how you agree and how well you listen. Now, actually, that's one of the biggest ones I can tell. When you listen instead of trying to, every time I say something, you're interrupting me saying something and interjecting what you need to interject, that's telling me that either your father wasn't there or he wasn't what you thought he was. Because as a man is all right, I'm coming to you. True, as I say, true masculinity is teaching. So I'm coming to you teaching and explaining certain things to you. And if you're interrupting that what I'm saying, it's like, okay, you don't value a certain level of teaching. And even if it's not high level grade, you didn't learn that respect there. Like, okay. So instantly that's telling me you're not wife material. Like, well, if I say, what did you learn in school? Did you not learn when the teacher in class to say, hold all your questions to the end? The teacher has the floor. Did you not learn that? So in regards to well, you're not in. If you want to say a man is not infallible, who said the man was infallible? The fact of the matter is, if he's actually trying to tell you stuff and you're interrupting before he can finish what he's saying, you're showing you lack respect for the one who's speaking. This is part of communication and comprehension. That means you're automatically saying that you don't fully value communication because you are not going to let someone talk long enough until you can actually comprehend everything that they say. So what does that tell me? Your value is low because you're not going to value the one who's speaking to you to get everything that you need to get and then evaluate it. And then, as I said, as a woman, you're one of your greatest attributes in a man's life is automatically going to happen is you're going to multiply. So if you don't get the information from him, and while he's talking and you're steady interrupting him, how can you multiply what he's telling you? You can't. It's more you're showing that okay, you're DI, which DI means two. So to the vision or whatever it is that he's trying to do, you've now created twos, which means now there is division there because your ears are itching because your inner spirit is itching to be heard. Usually people who interrupt people all the time, they've had a tendency in their life to not be heard or not be valued, so they're forcing what it is that they got to say on the other individual so they can get some type of validation, whether it is from their emotional state of being distraught or not being heard or whatever the case is. They're interrupting because they're trying to have purpose. You see this a lot with children when they're around adults. And they get in the conversation. This is what the old folks, those who my age, at least 40, should know this. When you heard your grandparents or whatever saying, get out of here, stay out of grown folks' business. Because you was trying to feel important and you decided to interject into a conversation you had no idea what was fully going on or what they were fully talking about. And you said something and everybody's just looking at you like, no. And I know this to be true because my son has done it quite a few instances. And like, boy, get somewhere. Stay out of grown folks' business. And this is basically, that's how it forms. And if you don't fully teach that child, which a lot of you all didn't get taught as a child, that okay, no, at some point, you know, well, no, I don't even say that. I try to have moments to where even with my son, it's all right. I want to hear what you're thinking. I want to hear how you feel, and just let him talk. And then I gather and then I go through it and sift through. Okay, he said this. Okay, let's evaluate that. Oh, okay. Let me wait before I give my opinion on that and see what else he tells me later. And then I go from there because that's giving him some sense of value, even though he's not old enough and cognitive enough to know certain things that's going on in the conversation of adults. It's like, all right, I'll give you this to grow you slowly but surely, because in time you're going to understand certain things. So when I hear women who just fully, I hear dudes do the mess too, and I just, no, I don't want to be bothered, especially when I do, because then it's so much more teaching you got to teach, and you don't understand this whole concept. But as far as a woman goes, it's like you're showing you don't fit on that wife category side. You simply don't, because when you're positioning yourself to be a wife, you're positioning yourself business wise, whether it's financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically, all that. It's all important, and it's like business, because you have to grow the business. The family is the business. We say mind the business that pays. Well, being a close knit family, understanding the core principles, visions, and all the other principles and everything else that goes with it. That's the only way it's going to stay is if you know it. But see, as I said in another video, a lot of us don't spend enough time with each other to actually learn each other, to know each other. But when you've been taught how to be a wife, you understand, like, okay, I have to listen. Biggest component, listening. And for some reason, with this society, as I said in the other video about short texting, WTF, and all that other garbage, people don't want to read. They don't want to read. Oh, well, you type that. That's too long. I don't want to read that. Oh, you talking too much or talking too long. I'm going to just ignore you. What did you learn? You learned nothing. Which is why you're more suitable and subjective to fall in the dating category, because dating deals with the present. It deals with the right now. Marriage is all about long term. It's the end goal. Dating is about right now. So you can tell if you've been taught to date, because you always in the right now moment. I want to have, what is fun? Fun is right now. Most people don't think of, okay, long-term fun. No, we're going to have fun right now. How can we get to fun right now? Oh, vacation me. They want that right now. When the summer's getting ready to hit, they ain't thinking about long-term, the summer, next summer, the summer thereafter. They're thinking about, okay, that summer getting ready to hit. I want that right now. That's why BBLs and all this other stuff is popping so, because they want it right now. They don't want to put no work in. Being a wife, you have to put work in. And just as he's molding you, you are actually molding him as well. And how you respond and how you do things. There's a molding process that's going on between you both. But are you being taught this? And the best way to be taught to be a wife is by technically having two parents. And you could say, oh, I know how to do it with just my mom. And your mom wasn't the wife. And all the way into the end, she is a good chance she's not going to be able to teach you how to fully be one. You're going to need a man to finish you off, to be able to teach you fully how to be a wife. Well, as a man, how can you tell us how to be a wife? I'm the one that chooses. When it comes down to it, as a man, we're the one who choose. You are not choosing. You're not choosing. Oh, okay, this is my husband. Well, I made that decision. Well, think about it. Did you really make that decision? Did you really make that decision for him to be your husband? Or did you realize that you were actually manipulated by the things you liked, that he did, that the things he had, and all of the stuff, those lists, the things that he checked off, because a lot of us know what to check off. Do you really think you made that choice for him to be that? No. He put a lot of things on that table for you to make that choice. Whether he flipped the script, because men flip the script too, as women do too. Whether he flipped the script or not, he did all that stuff to basically funnel your choice. We choose. So in the process of us choosing, yes, a man technically knows what he wants in a wife. And he will tell you what he wants, what he expects. Whether you choose to do it or not is on you. Now, this may be a consequence that you may like, or if he not fully 100% sure or solidified in his manhood, he may take your garbage. But if he is solidified, rest assured, he's more likely not going to take that garbage, and he's going to be out. What do I need to deal with this for? You're not a wife. You're not what you think you are. And that's somebody who is constantly sharpening herself until she's no longer on this planet. And as a man, we have to keep sharpening ourselves as well. We're forever teaching. So we have to be forever learning. Position ourselves to forever learning, forever enhancing ourselves. But as a woman, you got to start with listening first. Nothing else and everything else would expand outside of that. Okay, yeah, you can cook, you can clean, and blah, blah, blah. It don't make a difference if you can do all that stuff, cook, clean, or whatever. You be the best cook on the whole entire planet. You can best be the best cleaner on the whole entire planet. If you're not listening, it don't mean anything. You can't even be submissive without listening. Starts with you all listening. And that is the biggest component of not sealing the deal, of the engagement, the marriage, staying together long term, not listening. Because if you don't listen, you're doing nothing but creating more problems. Why do I want anyone that I have to clean up behind? Because you don't listen to me. I told you, and I suggested to you, don't do such and such and such. You did it anyway. Now we got this problem. That's not the nature of a wife. That is not what a wife is being about. You can't enhance anything that we have going on or whatever it is I'm trying to build because you don't listen. And this don't apply to, or he do so and so or something. There's no excuse. Okay, if he do so and so, you still listen. How smart are you? How wise are you? How cunning are you? To get to the point to where, all right, I listen to him even though he's not doing such and such. But am I crafty enough to, like I said, shape and mold to get him to do such and such and such that he needs in order for our family to expand? Whether that's physically, financially, spiritually, whatever. That's on you as well. But you have to be taught how to do that. If you're not taught how to do that, how can you get that out of him? Then all it is you go sit up there and do nothing but complain. Well, he don't do such and such. Then you leave yourself open to put yourself in a bad place, as well as your family, to go out and listen to another man that turns around and tells you, why are you doing such and such as him? Baby girl, I can do such and such, and I can do such and such. Now it sound good to you because you don't have enough tools enough to turn around and get the maximize and the most out of him, because being able to do that creates balance. A lot of times we may need that such and such thing, and would depend on the situation. That right woman will turn around and make that man go harder, make him do more, because she creates that type of atmosphere. She creates that element within the atmosphere to get him to do more things. Man, it feels like hair right up above keep trickling to my nose and tickling it, boy. That mess is annoying. But anyway, get to be a hairy situation. But anyway, ladies, women out here, understand that a man who really wants you as his wife wants you to listen to him. And that is the number one component in how to be a wife. If not, you don't listen. You just cheeks. You find yourself in the dating pool. And you may think it's cute that you're a baddie or a bad boss, or some women like to say I'm that B and I'm the annoying woman, or I'm that Karen, and it's like, okay, you can say that, but what you fail to realize is the dude has already determined if you cheeks or not. That's all you are is cheeks. They do just enough to make you feel like you might be slightly more than cheeks, just to appease. But in the harsh reality is, you ain't nothing but dating material. You're not wife material. You're not worthy enough to say, oh no, this is my wife. And he stick his chest out. And every time you come in the room, he acknowledges you as, he's gladly acknowledged, this is my wife. It's a big difference. And a lot of men, even if there are women who marry, they just do not acknowledge their wife as their wife because there's certain parameters going on, whether she's not listening and doing all other kind of stuff. He's not proud. He doesn't feel proud to say that you're his wife. But with that being said, it's WillMyCraven. Hope y'all enjoying yourselves on today. Hopefully I said something to stimulate thought. As the old folks would say, put some fat on your head. You know, as I used to say, and I'm going to say it now, you know, fix your face, fix your spirit, you know, get yourself together. With that being said, peace.